Oli Olis, hi, welcome to That's a Dude in a Dress podcast. I'm Jose, and also known as Jose Najuan, and with me is...
Hi guys, Melissa.
Okay, so normally I don't, this is the time that I finally get to take breaks when it comes to the podcast. She really does come up with ideas, so what's going on tonight?
So I've been on TikTok, right? Just trying to get subjects and stuff like that, and Reddit have been coming out a lot. Reddit, yeah,
Okay,
Reddit.
okay.
Okay, that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Reddit.
yeah.
Sorry. And I've been coming out a lot. So you know what? Let me look into this, and I kind of asked you like, hey, do you have to make an account? Do you have to kind of download? And you're like, yeah. The whole thing, right?
Did it work with the Reddit in the front of it? Like in the back, at the end of it?
Well, I just downloaded the app and I kind of went through it.
Okay.
And then I was looking into the subject of if your spouse cheats and a baby is conceived, do you stay or do you go? And when I was looking for the subject, right?
Oh, that gave me goosebumps. There's a reason why it's giving me goosebumps. Go.
So an interesting story came up and it says, my wife cheated and is now pregnant. That story really, that's up because everybody was like, oh, my husband cheated, blah, blah, blah. It was just going on and on and on, right? And I was just like, well, it's not really catching my attention. And this one did. And I was just like, holy crap. Okay. It's different to see it from a man's perspective because we're always seeing it from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
So for me, it was interesting to see it from the other side.
Oh, yeah. Because normally you only hear her perspective.
You only hear her perspective and why the man cheated. And it's usually like, oh, well.
Because normally it's him.
Exactly. And this time it was her. So the story is pretty lengthy. And it recently happened. It happened in January of this year. So it's when the post happened. I'm not sure when the actual cheating happened. And it was pretty interesting to see.
We come with the story too?
Yeah, it's a whole...
I'm ready. Go.
So they're in their early 30s, right? And they're high school sweethearts. So she ended up cheating, and it's an interesting twist because I had to reread the story.
Sorry, hold on. We're in the hood.
So I had to reread the story because I was just like, something just... It wasn't grabbing my attention as to why what happened.
Okay.
So anyways, so they have 2 kids together. They're high school sweethearts. Okay. And it doesn't say how long they've been together, but I'm going to assume since they're in their early 30s, probably about 15 years.
15, yeah.
Yeah, 15, give or take 20.
14, yeah.
And he finds out through, I think it's his mother that she had cheated. And every time that they talked about it, I don't know how.
Okay. I was like, what do you mean through his mother?
Through his mom, because I think she couldn't tell him, so it kind of came out through his mom. I guess she kind of told the mom, his mother-in-law. I mean, her mother-in-law, and it kind of went from there. Because she was too scared to tell him, like, "Hey, I cheated on you, and now I'm pregnant."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Sorry, I'm trying to piece it together so they know also.
Yeah, so they have. I don't know if I mentioned they have 2 kids together, 2 boys.
No.
Okay. And their families are longtime friends on top of that. So of course...
Well, yes, because they're...
because so both sides have been saying, please stay. It's one mistake out of, the beautiful memories you've made, so on and so forth. And it says that, of course, he had her blocked. So that's another reason why the mother-in-law had to kind of step in. Okay. And it says
let me just tell you real quick. I was on live today, and this is not what I was excited about earlier. But I was on live today, and during the live, somebody was like, I just broke up with my long-term relationship, and I'm going through it. Do you have any advice? And I was no, girl, just go through it. I mean, there's more to it.
It's true.
But I feel like it's in the same page of what's going on.
So, of course, he demanded a paternity test, right?
At what point?
Right away. As soon as he found out, hey, I cheated and I'm pregnant, demanded a paternity test.
So during her pregnancy?
Early on, I guess.
Okay,
As soon as he found out.
Can you do that?
Well, you can demand a paternity test. I don't know how. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we look it up, it'll let us know. But during the pregnancy, you can. But I think you have to be a certain time frame along. Like, I don't know if it's like second trimester or something like that. It probably is.
Okay. Next time she'll tell us in between all that. Good stuff.
It's because I'm just reading what the story that he said on the app.
Okay.
So he ended up leaving because he's just like, I don't know what to do. Like, she cheated and she's pregnant. I gotta go.
That's a difficult position to be in.
Of course, they're waiting for results because when he demanded it, he's just like.
And do we get the story, or you're just gonna give us a synopsis?
I'm giving you a synopsis because it's a lot. Like, it's really lengthy. Look at this, and he updates throughout this. Exactly.
I mean, this part isn't that much.
No, but then he updates like as he's going. He updates because remember.
Well, can we get some of that juicy stuff? And then
wait.
Okay, because I'm like, I want to know the details.
Well, I mean, we got 30 minutes
or more. Yeah.
So of course she threatens to like, I don't want to be here no more, crying every time that they talk about it. Can't get through any sentences, and he's just like, I mean, I don't know what to do with her because I'm not sure where it's coming from. If she's satisfied and says that she's happy with me, then why did she do it? And I'm just like, that's where it got tricky for me because it's just like, okay, well, why did she do it? Because usually when women do it's an emotional thing.
But on top of it, it's so weird when the man does it. It's almost like he expects forgiveness. Not all men, but some men expects forgiveness. But a woman doesn't. And he's like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't see you with another man. And I'm like, oh, but they're supposed to be okay with it.
Exactly, because it goes back to the beginning of time where men cheat and it was okay.
It was fine, I guess.
It was okay to have mistress
because they're not pure anymore.
Exactly. So it drags on for a while because he's just like, I don't know what to do. She's telling me this. The little story that I do get, it's not piecing together. So on and so forth. And then it becomes to where his now sister starts getting involved because she needs obviously the wife needs help. So her sister-in-law starting to get involved as far as like helping with the kids, so on and so forth. Because remember, he's keeping his distance. He's trying to figure it out. He's trying to let her figure it out. Yeah, trying to let her figure it out. Like, hey, I need a story because you're not making sense. All you do is cry every time. And
that's not going to get your way out of this conversation. Because at the end of the day, she's responsible for her consequences.
So it's just like, I don't like, it was never a thing for us, so on and so forth. That's why I was just like, what is it? Why does she keep crying? Why does she keep saying, I'm not in love. It wasn't that. I love you so much. Please don't go, so on and so forth. Because most women don't. They have an answer to why they did it. So do men, but anyways.
There's always an excuse, yeah.
So it goes on like this, I think, for like 2 months back and forth during that trial separation.
Are they living together?
No, he ended up leaving.
Oh,
so that's why. Okay. That's why
I thought you meant like he would like go for the day and go somewhere else.
No, he would. He was gone for like
out.
Yeah, he moved out.
Okay.
He moved out, and that's how the sister-in-law got involved with helping with the baby or with the babies.
Okay.
Well, they're not babies, but they're kids. So then, come to find out, she was actually assaulted when it comes out. So that's why in her mind, she thought she deserved it because she groped him.
Oh my God, that's heartbreaking.
So that's why she's like, I cheated and I'm sorry and so on and so forth.
But that doesn't make any sense as to why she's taking responsibility for
because
something.
In her mind, that's what she thinks. Because this had been happening. So as I'm reading the story, this had been happening with this guy trying to get at her for like 10 years. Mind you, she's been with this guy longer than that. With her husband, her now.
You're talking about the other man, the other guy. So guy B is the one that keeps
coming back. Yeah.
Is she wanting to entertain him like that? That he's getting this idea?
Not at all. So here's another little twist. He's a family member.
Of who?
Of hers.
Ew.
Exactly.
Not kissing cousins, honey.
Pretty much, yeah.
Ew!
I mean, they're not kissing cousins, but they're cousins.
Ew!
So that's why she thought, like, if I can... throughout these 10 years, she kept like, dude, just leave me alone, just leave me alone, just leave me alone, just leave me alone. I have a husband, we're happy.
Yeah.
And at one point, she ended up sending...
I'll see you at the quinces.
sending a video of her and her husband being intimate so that way he can leave her alone. I know. This is where I was like, what? Why?
No.
I was just like, whoa.
You know, you do that to an ex. You do that to a man. You want his attention. but you don't do it to a family member. I think she's giving me, like, there's more to this. I know there's more. I'm sorry to
Well, no, I mean, other than that, that's all it's all that's been said, because this is obviously from the point of view of the husband. So not a lot is said on that. Not a lot is said on that storyline. It's just like, ended up finding out she was assaulted by the family member, but because she groped him, she thought, oh, I deserve this, so I cheated.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. What do you mean she groped him?
That's all it says, is that she groped him, and hence the whole, like, her being assaulted.
Oh no, that's horrible. She doesn't deserve that.
Exactly. That's what I was just like, why would she? Now it all makes sense why she kept crying and like, I don't want anything to do with this person. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please don't leave. And in that, the paternity test comes back, and it is.
Wait, has she had the baby already?
She hasn't had the baby.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is early. This was in January, so not yet. So this is probably what, she's maybe 3 months in, something like that. Maybe a little longer, maybe 4 months. So it turns out to be the husband's baby, not when she got assaulted.
Oh, good.
But he's having a hard time with it.
Well, just because of the cheating part. I get that. That's a different.
He was having a hard time with, like, I don't know. I mean, do I really want this baby to be mine? Do I really want to take care of it? This was before he found out.
Okay.
That it was his, because you start playing all kinds of scenarios in your head. And I was just like, oh, wow. And then, of course, all the responses, like, before he finds out that she's assaulted, it's just like, don't stay for the kids. Did you get a divorce lawyer? Are you guys separated? You should leave. And so
it's because everybody's always. I do the same thing where I'm like, break up. It's get over it. You know, there's so many other people, but it's not an easy situation to be in when you're in it, right? Like if somebody was cheating on me and they were pregnant, the weird though, that person would be pregnant. It's a difficult situation, because then it almost feels like you're going to take it on the baby, right? For the anger or her, the entire marriage. So do they explain more of her? I think my thing is, it doesn't matter. She is not to blame for anything that the cousin did, right? But I feel like it was inappropriate. If you're telling me that her thought process was, I groped him. I'm at fault for that. But has no guilt towards the video.
Yeah. Because she thought in her mind, she thought, okay, you see how intimate I am with my husband. You see how happy I am. Why do you continue to keep?
But it was a sexual video, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's so personal.
It is.
Because you can just tell somebody. You could tell your husband, look, we need to talk. She kept the entire thing to herself. Why?
So, I'm not sure why. Because usually when you're a victim of assault, you tend to either one of two things. You either keep it inside and don't say nothing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or you become that person where you're so disconnected. And it's kind of like you do stupid shit to kind of forget what you went through.
I see what
like
you're saying.
being very promiscuous.
Like some people that are sexually abused either become really sexual in their behavior, or the complete opposite of it to protect themselves.
So I'm not sure if because I didn't get to read a lot because it's lengthy.
Next time she will, I promise.
It was just like, look at this, like it's a lot. So I was just like, dang, this is a lot.
I think you should have just kept reading and not looked at how long it was next time.
Because there's a lot of back and forth between the comments, and then the person responds, and then more comments, and then another like, oh, update, and more response. I was like, holy crap, this is a lot.
So there is a story, and it's so weird that you bring this up. There was a story I just saw on TikTok. And she said, I don't know what to do. The husband, if I mentioned this the last time, let me know. So the husband is a pastor.
I don't think you did.
And he cheated on her.
Okay.
Well, during the pregnancy, the wife ended up dying because of whatever complications, correct, along the way. Well, mind you, the wife doesn't know anything about this. The wife doesn't know that there's this happening, whatever's going on. That one day he comes crying and asking for forgiveness and saying, look, I messed up. I cheated on you. I'm so sorry. Not only does he lay that on her and wants forgiveness and wants to work on it and all that good stuff. You know how men or some people are. Forgive me. We'll go to counseling, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he tells her, oh, also, she had a baby.
Okay.
And she died during pregnancy.
Yeah.
So now the baby's mine, and I want you to take care of it. Mm-hmm. And she's completely flabbergasted, angry, she's lost, and she doesn't know what to do with it. And she's writing about it and saying, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So she says, he is the main parent this entire time. Mm-hmm. I waited 2 months because I didn't know what to do at the time. Mm-hmm. But he knew that I wasn't present, that he would never leave the baby with me.
Okay.
Because she was so uncomfortable and I want to say detached.
Okay.
She was so detached that he was, I think, scared to to keep the baby around her. Because she didn't know what to say. She said, I finally one day just got my stuff and left and said, I'm not taking care of this baby. Mm-hmm. And what a situation to be in, right? Because what do you do? They were pressuring, mind you. Mm-hmm. Her family was pressuring, you're supposed to be a good Christian woman. So you should abide by being a good Christian mom. She couldn't have kids as well. So that they said that was their way of God giving you a child. Hold on. I feel like what a difficult situation to be in. Mm-hmm. First of all, she didn't ask for this situation. She asked, God, let me birth the child, or let me come up to the conclusion.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me make the decision.
Yes, adopting or whatever it is, but that's not adopting.
No,
that's being forced in the situation.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost maybe that's a little intense to put it, but I feel like it's almost like if you're f***ing her without her permission, right? Because she's having to deal with the fact that you just came to her and you told her you cheated, and then now you have a baby, and now she has to be a mother. Mm-hmm. And he expected her to say yes. He expected her to give a nurturing, loving home to this new baby. And she said, I didn't want to take it out on the baby. Mm-hmm. He had nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how to behave. I don't feel nurturing. I don't feel like that's my baby. Mm-hmm. I don't feel anything towards this baby because it's not mine. So one day she just got up and left.
Was it a young baby, or was it
No, newborn.
Newborn. Okay.
Newborn. She just had the baby. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening.
Sorry. So it's because the other story's still going in my head.
And I feel like it's not one of the same, but I feel like it's a situation.
No, it's kind of a situation. It's kind of not one of the same, but they tie in together because it's almost like she wasn't asking her husband. Let's just say that if it wasn't the husband's, because it turned out to be.
Because she could have kept quiet and be like, "That's your baby."
I don't think her mind would let her because of the assault.
No, because of the assault. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I forgot about that.
But she did say, if the child turns out not to be yours, which she was 99.9% sure it's yours. Her and her husband were intimate the whole time that it happened. Because I think I don't know if it was going back and forth for 2 months.
I wish you had read all that so we could find out whether the cousin
I have it on here.
Whether he was taken to jail, whether...
It didn't say that. As I'm going through it, it's just saying that they're not getting divorced, but they are in a legal separation. Right now.
What a situation to be in, that the cousin did what he did, and now he's just not even reaping the prize, not doing anything. What a fucking asshole. Dude, say something. Go to a police officer, at least so they can assist you in all these situations. I see this time and time again where women don't say anything because they feel like they're not going to get helped. But there's so many places you can get help. You can call.
I think nowadays I can understand if it was he didn't he didn't update after that. Nowadays, yes, because of everything that women have gone through their early, because growing up, I saw this way too long. Not way too long. For a long time, my grandmother kept a lot to herself because she thought she had to endure whatever she went through as a young woman, and kind of led into her going through an experience later on in life. Luckily, nothing too bad happened, but to where she was kind of assaulted, but luckily somebody jumped in and kind of saw, and whole police report, but she was already in her like 70s, something like that, like late 70s. So knowing what she went through in her early life and kind of where she was at, like it was always a brush under the rug. That's where my family kind of sits now, where it's like, oh, we'll just brush it under the rug. We won't deal with it. We'll brush it under the rug. And it comes from back then, women having just to deal with it, having to get assaulted.
I can see that with a lot of people because people just, they think it's the quieter you are, the better. I just saw a story online, and it was on TikTok. Hijo, everything's always on TikTok.
Yeah,
follow me. She was talking about, that's it, she was done, and it was a family member. It was an uncle who was, what is it called? Who was assaulting not only her but other like family members in the whole thing. But everyone always said, whenever they brought it up, they were like, no, that's my brother. Don't say anything. It's okay. How I've seen this in our community. I can't speak for anybody else's.
Yeah.
But in our community, I've seen that time and time again where family members are always like, no, don't say anything. Don't say anything. And personally, from ours, I won't say who it was, but somebody also did that to family members, and we sat down and talked, and they all said the same thing: don't say anything. And it was just one specific person. And I feel like, well, anyway, the lady, one of the girls said, no, I'm done trying to take care of you. I was doing it for you. I'm not doing it anymore. So she called, and they got him arrested, and they got him convicted. And he went to jail for, he's in jail for I don't know how many years. Yeah. And they had a celebration once he was convicted. She was like, oh, okay.
It took me a minute. Yeah.
She had a celebration, like the people that most took care of her and like nurtured her, like, and wasn't taking care of him.
Yeah. Kind of helped her through the process of it.
Correct. Yeah. And it's interesting how we're so afraid, but at the same time I always think like this. We put ourselves in these situations, and if we're thinking we're protecting each other, we're not. It's going to happen to the next generation or the generation after that, because you're not speaking up. You're not saying anything. You're just brushing it under the rug, as you say. But it's a hard situation to be in. I get it. But I remember just sitting down listening to the women in my family and talking, and my mother just blatantly asked, was anybody by this assaulted by so and so?
I guess that's the best word we can use. Yeah.
And she specified this one person, and they went, I was, me too, hesitantly, of course. And it's not like they were just like with glee. No, they were just like me.
Because it's hard. It's hard to kind of come out with it, because you don't know how long the assault happened, because some of them go for years. Some of them only happen.
It looked like mine was going through like generations, because it went from my mom to my siblings.
That's so sad.
It is heartbreaking, and I feel like that's one of the situations that hearing this story, like I feel for the cousin. Do I think she made a couple of mistakes along the way? It still didn't. Do not think that for any reason that I think that she deserved what she got. No.
It's just it's the understanding or the thought process of, did it think that the guy was like, the cousin was okay for him to do what he did? Like, you know what I mean? Because you sent the video, and then it didn't trigger something. You know what I mean?
It's the video that creeps me out.
Yeah.
In this entire situation, it's the
it creeped me out too. I was just like,
that
what?
bothers me.
Because you put yourself in that situation. And I'm like, I wouldn't send a video to somebody who's harassing, because at the time it was harassment until it became assault. That's harassing me for the last, 10 years. And it was like an off and on, because as the story goes, it's an off and on up until those 2 months is when he came back into their lives. Like he moved back into the city, and that's how it started again. But that's always just like, why would you send the video? That's very intimate. Like,
I feel like that could have been a conversation between you and your husband and say, hey, we need to talk. So-and-so is coming to our house and he's making me uncomfortable. Let me tell you how uncomfortable. Something.
Yeah.
But you chose to not say anything.
Yeah, I
like
guess
before this situation happened.
Yeah, because I would want to hear why she thought that, because she's now in there. Like the last of the story was she's now seeing a therapist and so on and so forth. And I guess they're talking about the whole separation, the baby being his, all that stuff. And that's where it stays at. But I want to know what in her mind thought that she couldn't talk to her husband about this and say that she was assaulted. Because again,
I get it. Some men are really difficult to talk to.
Yeah.
Like some men, they're fucking assholes, or they're selfish and they're just so-and-so. So it's really difficult to talk to a man that's so closed off.
You see, and I don't know if he is, because he's not making it seem or sound like he's not a person that can be approached. But, one of the questions or one of the comments, it says, well, why is it that your wife couldn't come up to you and tell you that she was assaulted?
Yeah.
So there has to be a reason why.
Why does she feel safe?
Yeah, but again, this is
Were you going to accuse her of like how... Because some people do that, where you tell them something personal like that, and they're like, well, how dare you? How come you didn't tell me? I've always been here. And then it just turns into the blame game.
Yeah.
And
so there has to be a reason why she didn't say. But of course, we're only hearing his side of the story.
His perspective.
So that's why you don't, like, there's a lot of holes in the story. Like, okay, why did she do it? Like, why did she send the video? Why didn't she talk to her husband?
It's scary though.
It's scary. Yeah, well, it is scary. But I don't, like, for me, it's like, what in your mind thought that it was your fault that you got assaulted?
No, I feel like that's where she needs therapy, so she could realize that she wasn't at fault.
It wasn't her fault. Yeah,
it wasn't, and that it was his fucking, the cousin's. To me, I feel like it's a lot. It's a lot to bear. It's a lot to carry.
And she's also pregnant, so there is that.
Yeah. She hasn't had the baby.
No, she hasn't had the baby. But then there's that. Sorry. Like you add that. And of course, it's not going to be a happy pregnancy, because that's what, when you get pregnant and you're with your husband or your significant other, or whoever it is, you want to be happy, and you put the baby through a lot when you go through stuff like that. So there's that. So her emotions are everywhere right now. Like she has to think for the baby and think for herself. So I don't think she's really going, like, processing everything.
I could see that's why she's crying a lot, right? And it's because it's also a very difficult situation to start, right? To mention to somebody, to be vulnerable. I think that's the harder part, is that she wasn't vulnerable with him. Like, how long had they? My guess, because you've been together for so long, I would think that you guys know each other in and out, and that you can turn to someone and say, I need to talk to you, and this is serious. Like, I don't know, that's just me, but that we're all different humans.
So let me ask you the question. If your significant other or your husband cheated and a baby was produced, would you stay or would you go?
Well, first of all, in my situation, it's a little different.
No,
honey.
it could still happen.
Wait. By the reason I say that is because if he went to go have a woman, I can't give you what a woman gives you, honey. So I would be like, I think that would bother me.
Okay.
I can't give you what a woman can give you. And I'm emotional like one. I'm caring like one, but I can't give you that physical, what you have to offer. So I don't know if I could do that. I would love a kid. I would love a kid, but not in that situation. And I don't think I could. I don't think I could. As much as I would love to, and I think I would, but the reality is I probably wouldn't, because I don't know if I could focus my attention on the baby and the love, and I know I could,
Yeah.
emotionally, but then I would be like, if we broke up, you taking that baby away from me, and how am I going to invest that time? You already cheated. What makes you think he's not going to leave me again? So that's the process. I'm about to invest my time and energy on a baby that's not mine, but you want me to dedicate it, and then you step out again, and what am I? I'm left alone.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Because you've
think I could.
invested, yeah, you invested in the forgiving part, and then you've invested in the child that was produced. So yeah, I could. If you were to ask me this question in my 20s, I probably would have said, yeah, I'll stay, because
our 20s.
I saw it growing up. I saw it with my mom. My mom was loyal to an extent to my stepfather, who is now her ex-husband. I saw it. She took in both his kids when outside of their marriage, because they separated. It was a whole, you know how these marriages go. They separate, they get back together. They separate, they get back together. So in one of the separations, he had kids outside the marriage, and my mom had a kid outside the marriage. So when my stepdad needed her to step up to the plate, she did, because at the time they were still married. So, she raised his youngest kids. Till together, they have 5 kids together, raising those 2, and then the kids that they had together.
And I think that's the thing about, but when you're younger, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So my mom was the same way.
Yeah.
She was devoted to a fault.
Yes.
If she didn't see it, it didn't happen, honey.
Oh, believe me, my mom was livid, but I'm like, you also had a child outside the marriage. It's not, you guys separated for a long time.
Yeah.
He produced 2 kids, you produced 1. Yeah. So it's not like you guys.
It was healthy.
Yeah, it was, you know what I mean? But got back together, and that's when he needed help with his kids from the outside of the marriage. He needed help. He's like, shit's going down. Like, can you take care of my kids? And of course, with no hesitation, she said yes, because she thought about the kids. She wasn't thinking about anything else. She wasn't thinking about the mom was going to get involved, the biological mom, or anything like that. So ask me now, I'm going to say no. It's a lot. It's a lot, because I've raised my kids, so I can just imagine trying to bring somebody from the outside in, or even if you're married and you're still an outsider, because you didn't have that, you didn't have that child together. And there's always going to be a connection with somebody that you have a kid with, regardless if it's bad or good. It's still a connection. Yeah,
I think I could. I mean, if he wanted to leave and leave me the baby, then I could do that. But I couldn't do.
You couldn't stay.
Not with him and then the baby.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, I would
sign these rights over right now.
I don't even know if I would date somebody that has children. I don't know if I would, only because
the audacity.
No, only because no, like if they're young, because
you mean young kids?
Yeah, young kids. Like they're in their teens, like late teens going into their 20s. Parties. Like they have more of an understanding, like, hey, my parents weren't happy together, it's best that they're not together. Little kids don't understand that. So when you're coming in, it's a hard pill for these kids to swallow, when it's like, oh, well, now my daddy has a new girlfriend or vice versa, partner or whatever. It's hard for the little kid to understand, because I've seen it happen. And then I was like, I don't know if I would want to cause that type of emotional damage. You're doing it without doing it, and the kid doesn't understand. So it's a kind of like rebellious stage, or I don't want to see you with my daddy type of thing. I don't know if I would want to. I mean, of course, it's different once you're in it, and of course, the child is understanding, then it's different. But I don't know if I would want to put myself through that.
I don't think I could either.
It's hard. I think because of the sake of the child that I'm like, I don't know if I want to be part of the trauma. You know what I mean?
I don't either. I have a lot to unpack too, and I don't have another like suitcase to carry.
Exactly. I was just like, I have my own trauma, my
Correct.
kids' trauma. Like, I don't know if I would want to take on somebody else's child's trauma.
Or baby mama? Oh
No,
thank you, honey.
I'd be like, you know what? Then quédate con ella.
Yeah, there's some women out here who are horrible, who weaponize their children
Yes.
when in these situations. And
Toxic.
I know some already, and I cannot stand those type of women. You be a good woman, that's it. You don't need to, you're not going to see the kid because I didn't get my way. Oh,
Or you're not paying child support or anything like that. Like, oh, God.
I don't know. That's what's tricky. But I completely get it. I think we need to put. Do you have more to offer to this?
No, it was just that I was, it led to into that question. Would you forgive or would you stay with your partner if a child was produced from a cheating relationship?
So let me put because I feel like we're at the end already. First of all, let me start off. This is a disclaimer. Viewer discretion is advised because it gets a little sensitive at the end. I didn't know this in the beginning, so because she's just coming up with the ideas and we just start shooting. That's it.
Yeah.
But let me say viewer discretion advice again, and let's start the podcast. Okay, so now let's do the end.
Okay.
With whatever situation you're in, we just want to tell you that there is help out there. There is always help out there. You're not alone. I just want to say, with that said, this podcast is sponsored by Magia Coffee. And you can use your discount code JoseNajuan15. Dame un besito, because we got to go.
Bye.
Bye.